fine dine combine, where the world of wines unfolds right before your eyes. Here we are with MarCasar, visiting his winery, quite unique one, I might say. Hello, Marc. Thanks for having us today.
You are welcome.
Can you say a bit about yourself and your role at the winery?
My role at the winery is 7-day week, 24 hours a day. Apart from Easter Day and Christmas Day, I'm here all the time. It's about the one thing that I was raised up to do. It's drinking wine and talking with people. And making wine. I started off making some wine in demi-jeanne, in glass, more than 15-20 years ago. Maltese traditional method with Maltese grapes, and then afterwards with my own. 2015 I got my 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris from Georgia, custom made for me. A total capacity of 35 tons. When I got the 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris to Malta, there was no explanation how wine is made in 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris, even though it's the oldest technique, oldest way of making wine in the world, going back something like 7,000 years, today under the auspices of the UNESCO. I must admit that I was doing the wine from the start as if I'd been doing it for thousands of years, and that I cannot explain.
Let's explain the 𝐂𝐽𝐵vri to our viewers.
The clay of Imereti is normally considered to be the best. Why is it the best? Simply because it contains more, I wouldn't say trace elements, they're more like macro elements of gold and silver and manganese. 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris are made with clay, but the clay is a raw clay taken down from the hill, from the mountain, and worked directly without any fining of the clay. 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris are the only winemaking equipment in the world that has to be buried up to its neck. The original idea, for sure, was an infusion of telluric energy, sometimes referred to as magnetic energy, into the metal, the non-ferrous metals in the clay, from the clay into the wine. Okay, we're talking ionic bondage, we're talking magnetic energy. Where do you find the magnetic energy? How do you feel it? How do you see it? Very easy. Up to now, my record is 2.5 years wine in the 𝐂𝐽𝐵vri without doing anything to it, just leaving it there. These wines, they can bring the good inside out. They exteriorize the internal happiness and they bring it out. So the euphoria is not from the alcohol, but from the balance of first the components of the wine itself, with the polyphenols, the serotonins, the dopamines, the antioxidants, but then also with the wavelength, the accumulated, the stocked grounding energy in the wine itself. And that is the secret of 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris. 𝐂𝐽𝐵vris will not work if you put them in a north-south axis. Crazy, but that's how it works. So with regards to the technique per se, it's extremely simple. During harvest, bring the grapes. Normally it takes either 1 to 2 days to get the Syrah, the Merlot, Petit Verdot, and another day for the Chardonnay. I let them cool down during the night, like that the ladybirds come out, the bees come out, and they go back to nature. The next day we take the stem out, but the grapes remain whole berries. We pound them downstairs into the 𝐂𝐽𝐵vri, and from there the process starts in a natural way, and it takes its time. Natural wine is not as easy to make as a conventional, because you cannot have any manipulation, you do not have any fining, any filtration, no additives whatsoever of any artificial synthetic chemical, including the yeast. Even the yeast is an indigenous yeast on the grape itself. Once the first fermentation is over, 4 or 5 weeks down the line, I pump the wine up with the seeds and skins. Then it is pressed here, and it goes back to a new clean 𝐷𝐿𝐴vri. It's an Italian wine press, hydraulic. All it takes is a little bit of ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's very, very slow, very, very gentle pressing. Once the wine is ready, 2 years, 3 years down the line, I simply pump the wine up direct from the 𝐷𝐿𝐴vris into the bottling machine. It's one of the 7 wonders of technology, really, Italian technology, custom built for myself, including a thermostat, for the simple reason that the bottling here with the natural wine has to go direct from the 𝐷𝐿𝐴vris, which would be at a temperature of around 12-13 degrees, direct into the bottle. After that, directly, the machine is gauged for 49mm natural corks, not chlorinated. This machine, before putting the cork in, it takes the air out, meaning I'm not adding nitrogen to the top of the wine, but I'm actually taking all the air out, what we normally refer to as a sous vide under vacuum. The next day, the bottles are kept upright for the night. The cork needs a little bit of time to adjust itself, and then I cover the top part of the bottle with gomma lacca, shellac. That prevents any micro-oxygenation, any oxygen going into the wine. Obviously, it would mean that instead of the 15 years that I'm guaranteed with the natural corks, the lifetime of the wine is enhanced by at least 10 years, and it keeps better.
So let's touch the base on the grape varieties that you are using.
I use the Chardonnay for amber, and I use the Merlot Petit Verdot for reds. I was doing only natural wine until 2019, and then from 2020 I switched on to something a little bit more radical, something that was done before for many thousands of years. That is the combination of, let's say, psychotropic natural plants like marijuana, and actually infusing it with the grapes during fermentation and after. I am specialized in psychotropic, be it marijuana. I can use other things like mushrooms as well. For the time being, only marijuana weed is legal in Europe, up to a percentage of 0.2% in THC. I foresee a very near future where other products like psilocybin can be used as well, and I'm caring for that.
You said that you want to introduce your signature wine to us today.
Yes.
Which is the signature wine that you're making?
My last edition is Sacro, which is made with grapes and hemp. The hemp I import from Poland or from Czechoslovakia. It's a direct infusion, old way of infusing psychotropic products together with the grape, because it's only the grape that ferments. Products like magic mushroom, coca leaf, opioids, they do not ferment. So the only way people had before to extract and use for therapeutic purposes was actually putting them in wine. It's a millennia-old system that basically I have renewed, and there again I had the impression that I was doing this thing before, a long time ago, but maybe it's just an impression. The fact that the wine...
Déjà vu.
A déjà vu, but a continuous déjà vu. The fact that the wine is circulating, which is actually the effect of magnetism in combination with the non-ferrous, the gold, especially the gold in the clay itself, gives a magnetic movement to the wine, and I find that very important. If you do not have the appropriate telluric magnetic activity beneath the winery, it will not have that effect on the wine, and the wine will go bad.
You're leaving the skins in contact with the liquid.
Skin and seeds. Yes.
Skin and seeds both. Can you explain us what is the benefit of this process?
The benefit of the grape as a whole. The grape is a perfect fruit that can ferment itself and has a high amount of antioxidants. Not only it can ferment itself into wine, into alcohol, but it also has the protection to protect the alcohol, which are the antioxidants. So you're getting the polyphenols and the yeast from the skin, the seed, serotonins, dopamines, antioxidants. The whole DNA of the grape is actually in the seed. I have a very strong allergy to chemicals, and I'm also very allergic to sulfites, which is basically the main reason why I do what I do. I don't mind how much I sell, but if I want to drink wine, and I drink wine every day, I am sure that there is no contaminant in my wine, so I can drink it.
Shall we open a bottle?
It's past 12 o'clock. 𝐼𝐢𝐧𝐞, the 𝐌𝐚𝐫𝐿.
In fact, we can lose the time down here. We don't see the sunlight, so we are good.
What do you need the sun for? It burns your skin.
Can you tell us why do you encase your wines?
This is to prevent oxygenation of the wine. Cork is meant for micro-oxygenation. I prevent micro-oxygenation, especially since my wines are all bottled under vacuum and without nitrogen. It's a Portuguese cork from JCR. Normally it will need a couple of minutes aeration. It's a 49 millimeters. You will not find cannabis wines anywhere.
How long it took you to get legalized for something like this? Did you have any problems?
I'm human, I'm legal. Yeah. European legislation took care of that back in November 2019 with the case called 𝐻𝐴𝐻𝐵, meaning any hemp-produced product in Europe up to 0.2% THC is a free movement of trade in all European countries. Cheers.
Cheers, Mark.
Wine is blood. It is the exact composition of blood. It helps to put people, humans, closer to God, closer to ourselves, closer to our spirit. That is what wine is for. You don't drink wine to get drunk. You don't drink wine to be happy. The happiness is inside, and the wine just brings it out. As long as you share with other people, with friends, with family, with whoever, these wines will put the people around the table drinking the same wine on the same resonance, on the same vibration. So speech, talking is not important. We understand each other through resonance. As the wine is putting us all together on the same level. That is wine. Cheers.
Cheers, Mike.
That is why we also say in practically every language, to your health. Because I'm giving you health and you are reciprocating. It's a give and take. That is why drinking wine is sharing love and sharing our spirits and not being ashamed of what we are or of what our spirit is. That is wine. It's in the soul.
They used to say that there is a truth in the wine, so that cannot be far from the truth today.
It is a technique that sommeliers use. When you're drinking wine with somebody, let's say on business, it can be family, and the wine doesn't taste 100%. Very often it's not the wine. You need to change the person that you're talking with. That person will be negative and it is affecting your wine.
Shall we offer them a glass?
Maybe.
Do you think they deserved it today?
They have been very brave up to now.
I might say that this is the first time I'm trying CBD infused wine. So far,
You will
I
not
don't
get
feel
high.
anything.
These wines with CBD and THC are mostly being used for therapeutic purposes, apart from being wine. Nervous tics, trembling, fibromyalgia, hemoglobin after certain interventions, period pains, flashes. Antioxidants are so strong. You can leave half a bottle without a cork for 1 week. You pour in your glass and you drink. They do not oxidize.
And this wine has excellent properties, and this chocolate cash, I'm feeling it.
Yes.
Slowly. I think it needs to breathe a bit
out.
more. It needs to breathe a bit more.
It's coming out. If it breathes more, then you have chocolate in your mouth. Mind you, the 2020 I did with the chocolate kush, 21 with the Buddha haze. It's a very, very complex hemp, very complex bud. So basically you can do a wine, I can do a wine with Merlot, I can do it with any grape. And the profile will change according to the strain of hemp. It's an Australian beautiful labeling machine. No special moving parts, and you can do 120, 150 labels per hour with it. Very, very simple, extremely simple. First, second, track, front and back label. Labels are plastified, obviously printed in Italy, very specialized printer. You can keep them in the cellar with the labels on for years. No problem at all. No humidity, no this, no that, they don't mold. You pay a little bit more for the labels and you can use them longer. You try to save money on labels, on this and that, then it comes back to you. Cheap is expensive.
What name sacrum?
Sacrum is the lower back. It's considered to be the holiest part of the body because it's the reproductory part of the body, basically. It's also halfway between the spine and the rest of the body. Sacrum is the holiest part of the body. Sacrum is the biological part of the body, but it also terms with sacred. They are sacred wines because their intention is to give you a better experience of life, to make you know yourself better. When people drinking these wines, they will not talk sports or politics. We talk magnetism, we talk religion, spirituality, phases of the moon, magic, why not?
Talking about the wines, you mentioned earlier when we had a chat that the weather was not really favorable to you last couple of years. Do you have any other issues in the local market? How are your wines introduced to the people? How do you sell your wines? How is your marketing strategy on that? Did you have any problems? Did you have some happy accidents along the way? I mean, it's been a long way since you are doing these wines.
I concentrated on making wine. Wines that give me pleasure. Wines I can store for a long time. My marketing strategy was basically a no marketing campaign. I do wine tastings practically every day, Monday to Sunday. I put people together on one big table and they start talking and we start drinking wine and then we talk.
The events and wine tastings, do you have any future plans for that? Do you do something with it?
I have the intention to transform the area that I'm presently using inside the winery itself for the wine tasting into a different venue on the same premises. I started off like 21 years ago buying the fields. I did all the environmental landscaping with building huge walls around my properties, building reservoirs and the winery and this and that. After 2015, when I started doing wine, about 1 year later I started off with the wine tastings. I think I was one of the first in Malta actually. It has come a long way. So now is the time to do some adjustments according to what I have learned, to my experience, according to feedback from companies, from friends. It is my intention is to continue on this path and build upon what has been achieved with a lot of sacrifice up to now. I do not have the intention of retiring anytime soon. I do not have any pension, so either I work or I go hungry. But I prefer it like that. Life is not about working, but when you have a certain level of success, you should be humble enough to accept it.
You mentioned testings. How is one to book that testing with you? And what are the groups numbers? Do you like small testing, where you have a chance to speak with the people on the table, or you prefer that you have big groups? I assume smaller, but...
I believe that the person making the wines has a story. So you have to like the story to like the wines. You have to like the wines to like the story. And I'm afraid the story here is me, apart from the 𝐷𝐿𝐴, which are more important than me. I promote calm. I promote people feeling good about having a different type of experience where there's no hurry. There's no tasting, small tastings, and then you buy the bottle that you want. I put bottles on the table. And frankly, if you want to drink 2 bottles, you drink 2 bottles.
Do you like to present your tasting notes to the people, or you prefer that people get their own conclusions out of your wines? Or either way?
I have to admit, I have a disability, I have a handicap, going back to 2001. But it actually goes back a lot before that, whereby I lost the sense of smell. So I do not smell anything, 100%. You can put perfume next to my nose or whatever you want, I will smell nothing. I'm one of very, very few winemakers in the world who does not have the sense of smell. But by time, I developed other senses, because they compensate, which would be like I have a very good sense of the after effect of drinking. Many people will go like sniffing the wine, smells of this, smells of that. tastings, taste of this, taste of that. But that is up to here. And there's a whole circulation in the whole body that is still to come. Tell me how you feel afterwards. Besides smell and taste in wine, like in a lot of things, like in food, they can be, we can put a little bit of spice, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and the product is transformed. With smell and taste, what you like, he doesn't, or she doesn't. If I ask for your notes, you say, oh, this and that and that, apart from the chocolate that is there, obviously very strong.
Very strong, very strong.
Or the saltiness, the sea, that is also at times very strong. Apart from that, your sense of taste and smell only reflects the recollections of your childhood.
And your memories.
And your memory. Smell is a memory. Taste is a memory. It will, a taste, a smell of something will send your mind back to an occasion where you smell that smell and you remember, oh, I had a good time there, so you like that smell. It can be a nice smell, but if it sends you back bad memory of something without you know it, you will never like that smell.
And it will destroy your experience of the wine as well.
It takes a little bit of living around, it takes a little bit of experience in life, and then you notice that what I like is not necessarily what you like, but how I feel about a fruit or a wine. You feel something completely different. So who am I to say you should smell this and smell that? You smell what you want. If it gives you pleasure, so be it.
The wine is amazing, I like it. Tell us about the trends locally. Did you feel that some trends in Malta are changing towards this or that when it comes to the wine industry?
Okay, I'll give you the trends, my way. When I was young, all my friends had hair on the on their chest and on their, and they looked very macho. Like 60 years ago, all my friends had hair, and I was so ashamed because I don't have any hair. I have 13, but they don't really show. So I was ashamed when I was young because I was not like my friends. Nowadays, men are shaving off the hair. So now I'm in trend. So if the trend is not your friend today, all you have to do is wait, and it will come. Here I work without the use of pesticides, herbicides. The idea is to leave the wild plants around, the wild weeds around, and they actually take care of the insects. You have to understand the basis of biodynamic is that the wild plants, they give terroir. They give life to the vines. The vines are not alone, they are in company of different weeds, all Mediterranean, all indigenous, and they are also in company of insects that are their friends. The same weeds that attract these insects, they are also a repellent for the bad insects that would eventually make harm to the vineyard. There is a very big difference in money. If you're doing this kind of agriculture, a hectare will cost you no more than 108, maybe 80 euro per hectare. If you're doing conventional farming and vineyards, anywhere else, we're talking about 1,000 euro. Pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and the rest. Will you spend money to put poison in your food? Will you spend money to put poison on your wine? I don't.
Mark, thank you for having us today.
It was a pleasure for me having you here.